Now Ishan, thank you for joining me and Visual Magazine today for this exclusive interview.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure.
I understand you're very busy working on your new film, The Downfall.
Yeah, working on it now. Release date of October 2016. So yeah, it should be good.
Okay, so I watched this film recently at the London Film Festival and I have to say it's really dark and tense throughout. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, great. That's the direction we're aiming for. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So in what ways have you used typical convention of real media products?
Well, the primary genre of Enigma is a psychological thriller that also features elements and conventions from the mystery and horror genres, meaning it's a hybrid. This is something that can be seen in the Roommates trailer, as it shows elements of a psychological thriller as well as horror, which signifies the genre's evolving as it develops to appeal to certain audiences. The main inspiration for the narrative actually came from Fatal Attraction of 1987, in which the protagonist, portrayed by Michael Douglas, is tormented by the woman who he had an affair with. Our narrative follows the equilibrium theory from Tez Van Tolerov, in which the antagonist in our film is the Enigma, disrupts the relationship between our protagonists Noah and Rhea. The conventional use of the complicated love triangle in thriller films is something that can be seen in The Obsessed, starring Beyoncé and Idris Elba. This is something we actually found from our genre research and were inspired by. Therefore, from the Fatal Attraction teaser trailer, we could identify that there is often a slow build-up that helps play a significant role in both helping to introduce the characters or to also help slowly create tension. And consequently, we thought we would follow this convention of starting with a slow pace before suddenly the pace and intensity of the teaser is increased to help captivate and evoke terror upon the audience. Furthermore, the change of pace and soundtrack is also shown in the Roommates trailer and produces the effect of creating the tense atmosphere that we were looking for. In a similar effect, the several non-diegetic soundtracks represent the different stages of our trailer, with the slow-paced, ambient start before the piercing and heavy soundtrack begins with a montage. Trailers such as The Gift from 2015 do not use a narration over their trailers, but instead use character dialogue.
Oh, what does bygones be bygones mean?
It's over!
Simon has a full file on him.
You think he's been lying to you?
Just tell me what happened.
It's 25 years ago.
Dialogue to briefly describe the narrative. This is something that we attempted to follow because focusing primarily on the character dialogue helps tell a small sample of the story, leaving the audience wanting more. Thrillers prominently use close-ups to express emotion and terror, like we can see in the famous shower scene of Psycho from 1960. In this Roommate trailer, there was a particularly spine-chilling shot of Minka Kelly's character sleeping, which was a shot we used to signify the extreme lengths the antagonist is willing to go.
That's great, so how have you developed on any conventions?
Well, in terms of the mise-en-scène, thriller teasers typically start with high-key lying and then switch to the more intense, low-key lying. This was something we actually spotted in the Roommates trailer, as the trailer starts with a happy tone, which is a stark contrast to the dark and twisted end. Also, props-wise, a knife is another recognisable element, where we can see it being used in the Scream franchise, and it is almost as symbolic as the renowned Ghostface mask. Typically, thrillers can be set in isolated and nearest settings to help create that feeling of loneliness and being trapped. And this is something we thought was important, and so we filmed in such places such as the dark street at night.
Interesting, but then how have you challenged forms and conventions of real media products?
One way we actually challenge forms and conventions is by using teenage protagonists. In other Hollywood films, it is arguable that the use of teenage characters actually takes away from the drama, and consequently we often see actors playing married couples, such as in Obsessed.
However, we felt it was important to use teenage protagonists as it would help to appeal to our younger target audience, which is a common trend in thriller films these days, with films such as Disturbia and the Paranormal Activity franchise being targeted towards teenagers and young adults. In addition to this, the actors are essentially countertypes as they go against the stereotypical white protagonists that are commonly featured in Hollywood.
We did, however, use a typical convention, which can be seen in the Scream franchise, for instance, of the damsel in distress, where the female character is often portrayed as being in trouble and needing help. Whilst the male protagonist is somewhat initially presented as our hero, he too falls at the hands of the antagonist, which is something we did to challenge real media products.
Excellent, Ishan. Thank you very much for your time. That's a very useful insight into what ways does your media production use develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products. Now just remind our viewers when the film comes out.
It comes out October 31st.
You heard it from the man himself. The Enigma releases October 31st across the country, and I know I'm going to be in the first screening.